Please applaud the student with the highest score in the third semester, May Williams.
May eagerly rushed onto the stage as a few boring applause came out. The principal handed her a certificate and a bouquet, then continued to introduce.
Now let's welcome Kathy with a contemporary dance repertoire.
The audience immediately stood up and cheered loudly. May furiously looked at me as I stepped out from the backstage. It was such a gratifying feeling. After finishing the performance, I received a standing ovation from the whole school, and no one noticed May sitting silently in the corner. I shrugged and looked at her scornfully. At school, I didn't want anyone to know that May was my sister. We were two completely opposite individuals. Although she was nobody there, she was loved by our parents. And me, I was popular at school and was the head of the contemporary dance club. But to our parents, I was a failure because of my poor academic performance. That day, when I came home and was about to enter the house, I heard cheerful voices. "Well done, May. You've been at the top for 3 semesters. We're so proud of you." As soon as May saw me at the door, she said loudly, "I always consider studying as the most important thing. Most of the dance club's members are bad at it since all they care about is dancing." After saying that, May pointed at me. "Oh, did Kathy just get home from practice?" Seeing me in performance clothes, my parents immediately scolded me.
Kathy, your grades are terrible. Why don't you be like May?
May looked at me smugly. "Well, you probably didn't know that Kathy had almost failed her classes."
I was furious when May said that. I was trying to hide it from them. Dad suddenly declared, "From today, you must quit your dance club to focus on your studies."
"But Dad, I'm the captain. I can't leave them." Immediately, my dad called the principal and asked him to remove me from the dance team.
Great Dad, I could no longer perform at the statewide exchange.
The next day, the team members furiously looked for me.
"You're so irresponsible! How can you leave us at such an important time?" Wait, it's not my fault. Enough, Katie! We don't want to hear any more from you. It was all because of May. I angrily came up with a plan to take revenge on her.
Before her exam, I wrote the answers notes on small pieces of paper, then waited for May to sleep. I sneaked into her room and stuffed the notes inside her pocket. She would be humiliated and her results would be cancelled if they found it out. But surprisingly, when I put them in, there was already another set of notes in it. So May cheated too? The next day, I sneakily followed May. When her exam ended, May looked for a trash can at the end of the school corridor, glanced around, then threw the notes in the bin and quickly left. When nobody else was around, I hurriedly dug through the trash can and picked up the notes she threw away. My sister continued to have the highest score in the exam. While everyone was congratulating her, I used a fake account, took a photo of the notes with May's handwriting, and proved that my sister had cheated. Immediately, the whole school ballroom was enraged. Everyone shamed May for being a liar. Serves her right for kicking me out of my dance club. But it didn't stop there. The next day at school, everyone threw tomatoes and paper bullets at May. Some even pushed her down. At that moment, I regretted everything I did. I ran over to hug May and shouted,
"Enough already! Stop it!"
May was completely devastated. She cried all day after coming back from school. It broke my heart seeing her like that.
"I'm really sorry, May.
I was the one who exposed you. I'm jealous of you because you're always loved by our parents." Surprisingly, instead of being angry, May said, "It's okay, Kathy. Thanks for telling the truth. I'm jealous too because you were beautiful, talented, and always getting everyone's attention. So I did everything, even cheated, to achieve high results so at least Mom and Dad would be proud of me." We teared up and hugged each other apologetically. The war between me and my sister is officially over. Now we support and help each other in everything. She helped me to study, and I was able to return to the contemporary dance club. I helped May with her makeup and transformed her into a much more beautiful and fashionable girl. So that's it. Love always makes people better than hatred, right? When I was cleaning, suddenly the house owner threw a bunch of shoes at me. Aviv, clean all of this, she said haughtily and handed me a toothbrush. With this tiny brush? Yes, I don't want you to scratch my beloved shoes. After saying that, she turned and left. Don't be surprised. It was just one of the bizarre requests I received when I worked as a maid for billionaire families. Hi, I'm Aviv, 18 years old. I live in a poor family with many siblings. In order to have money, during summer break, I worked with my cousin Glenda as part-time mates for rich families in Beverly Hills. Glenda said if we did well, we would be tipped quite handsomely after each job. Soon after, we got a job in a luxurious villa. Its owner is Luana, the daughter of a famous music producer. She lived in the UK during childhood and just returned to the US a few months ago. To welcome her, Luana's dad bought his daughter that villa. She's the rightful owner of it. How admirable. Even though I'm the same age as her, the gap between us is vastly different. However, there was one thing I didn't like about Luana. She was extremely annoying. Luana always looked down on me and my cousin. Before entering her villa, we had to disinfect our entire bodies because she said mates like us often carry pathogens and didn't even allow us to clean her dressing table for fear that we would steal her jewelry. Once, I was cleaning the kitchen when I suddenly heard Glenda scream. I rushed to see what happened and was shocked to see that she had accidentally torn one of Luana's most expensive skirts while cleaning it. She screamed in horror.
What should I do? I'm so dead!
Let me try to fix it. I pulled out my sewing kit and began to sew up the torn part. Luckily, I turned the dress back to its original state. Whew. We breathed a sigh of relief. Holding the dress in hand, I couldn't help but admire it. Glenda unexpectedly said, "Why don't you try wearing it?" What? No, we shouldn't do that. Just for a while, nobody's gonna know. At her persuasion, I quickly agreed. After putting on the dress, I happily looked at my beautiful image in the mirror. We laughed as we quickly moved to the living room. As we were jokingly imitating the gestures of the rich, the front door suddenly opened and a strikingly handsome man entered. I totally recognized him. He was Enoch, an emerging singer who was very popular on social media. Hi, are you Luana? I'm Enoch. I worked with your father once. I heard that you just moved here, so I wanted to say hello. We'll be neighbors. How did you come inside? Oh, I'm sorry. The door isn't locked, so I just entered. He sheepishly scratched his head. I suddenly remembered that both Glenda and I had forgotten to close the door because we were having so much fun. Afraid that Luana would find out about that, I lied to Enoch that I was Luana and quickly asked him to leave. He had never met Luana in real life, so he believed what I said. Unfortunately, the next morning when Luana was putting on a mask and chilling in the living room, suddenly the bell rang. Enoch was standing at the door with an expensive bottle of wine in hand. Terrified, I immediately put on Luana's nightgown then went to greet him. Oh, hi. Sorry about yesterday. I have a small gift for you as an apology. Enoch handed the bottle to me. Oh, thank you so much. Please leave now. I grabbed the bottle at lightning speed and tried to close the door, but unexpectedly, Enoch said, "Oh, wait, can I use the bathroom?" I had no choice but to agree. When he came in, he was surprised to see someone lying in the living room. Oh, hello. Without letting him finish his sentence, I covered his mouth. That's my mom. She's just returned from England and is exhausted. Please don't wake her up. With that, I dragged Enoch into the bathroom and carefully locked the door. Suddenly, Luana spoke up.
Aviv, I want orange juice!
I quickly took off the nightgown and rushed to give her the juice. Before I could breathe, there was a lot of noise coming out from the bathroom. Enoch was probably trying to get out. Is there someone in the bathroom? No, you're just too tired. After reassuring Luana, I put her nightgown back on and ran to open the door for Enoch. After successfully escorting him out, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. A few days later, Luana called to order me to bring home the clothes she had reordered from the boutique. She was traveling with her friends, so she couldn't get them. Just when I received them from the shopkeeper and was about to leave, I bumped into Enoch again. He thought I had just finished shopping, so he offered to take me home. Well, it was a good way to save money instead of hailing a cab, so I agreed. Enoch and I talked a lot along the way. I pleasantly realized that he was incredibly smart and funny. Before I got out of the car and went back to the villa, he suddenly gave me a VIP concert ticket. My show will take place this weekend. It would be an honor for me if you took the time to go there. He winked, then drove away. I was extremely hesitant at Enoch's invitation. I knew the person he wanted to invite was Luana, not me. But still, I really wanted to see him perform, so in the end, I decided to go there. As a special guest, I was allowed to go backstage to meet Enoch, and he was elated to see me. 5 minutes before showtime, as he started moving from the dressing room onto the stage, suddenly his outfit got caught in the door and was torn. The director loudly called the person in charge to fix it, but she was nowhere to be found. The situation seemed serious, so I rushed to help. I quickly grabbed the thread box and fixed Enoch's outfit in the blink of an eye. Luckily, he made it in time. At the end of the show, Enoch asked to thank me privately. I sighed. It would be the perfect chance for me to tell him the whole truth. But before I could say anything, he suddenly kissed me. He said that he had liked me from the first time we met and hoped that I would become his girlfriend. You can't imagine how delighted I was when I heard that. That was how I sunk deeper in my lies. I decided to keep pretending to be Luana. In the days that followed, Enoch and I had a wonderful time. We hung out together and shared all our interests. But lies are just a temporary delay for the inevitable. And of course, so was mine. That day, Enoch unexpectedly took me to a party. He said that he wanted to inform his friends about us being a couple. What surprised me was one of them has seen Luana before. Enoch, you're wrong. She's not Luana. She's a fake. The girl pointed her finger at me and shouted. Shocked, Enoch asked me to explain. I had no choice but to tell him the whole truth. He was so furious that he left right away. Panicked, I ran after him to beg for forgiveness. Enoch, I'm so sorry, Enoch. I swear I was going to confess everything.
Enough! I can't believe you deceived me while I actually have feelings for you. We're done.
After saying that, he coldly left. After that day, I locked myself in my room for weeks. I realized how stupid I was to hurt Enoch. I silently prayed that I would have a second chance to fix everything. Unbelievably, God seemed to have heard my prayer. That day, I received news that Enoch would return to his high school to perform. After the show was over, the host asked if anyone wanted to ask Enoch anything. I mustered up all of my courage and raised my hand. Standing in front of thousands of people, I confessed my shame about being poor and how I lied to date the guy I had a crush on. How I felt sorry and stupid about it and wished for a chance to redo everything. Then I asked Enoch a question. Enoch, if you were that guy, would you forgive me? After silently looking at me for a while, he smiled. Maybe. After that day, we started over again. Although I was fired from being a maid, I've learned my lesson and I'm trying to be better every day. Back then, before becoming a giant, every physical class was a nightmare to me.
You dwarf! You failed again! The bar is as high as your head!
Ever since I was a child, I have always been the shortest in class, always being laughed at and teased. In high school, during the recruitment for the cheerleading team, I took the risk to submit an application. Although I knew I was too short, it had been my dream for years. As I entered the field, the coach stared at me with scornful eyes.
Are you kidding me, Caddy? Go home and drink more milk or lengthen your legs or something if you don't want to be trampled on the team.
Immediately, the crowd laughed. I was so humiliated that I burst into tears and ran away. When I got home, my mom was surprised.
Darling, did something happen to you? I didn't get accepted into the cheerleading team because I was too short. They even mocked me.
Mom hugged me sadly. After thinking for a while, she said, "Don't worry, dear. I have a plan." Mom took me to the top nutritionists and orthopedic doctors to ask them for the most effective treatment. She even bought me super expensive and world-famous height-increasing pills. During that summer, I had to take a lot of medicine and exercise to get taller. Our efforts paid off. In just 2 months of summer vacation, I grew dramatically. Mom and I were extremely excited. I could finally be confident with my height and body. I returned to school with an outstanding height and gorgeous look. Boys competed with each other to give me flowers, teddy bears, and filled my drawer with love letters. Among them was Brew, a gentle guy but a bit short. Although I rejected Brew's confessions, he said, "It's okay. Can we still be friends?" I happily agreed. He was very kind and intelligent. We quickly became close friends. With confidence, I applied for the cheerleading team again. It was a surprise that Brew also signed up with me. As we came to the coach office, she was shocked. "Wow, look at you, Caddy. Very remarkable. Right when I'm looking for a new center position, do you think you have what it takes?" I was so surprised that I jumped with joy. When we got out of the office, a group of girls came over with a pompous look. "That's Kelly, the queen bee who has been the center for 2 years now. Peasant, as long as I'm on the team, you won't get that position." Since then, Kelly has always caused me trouble. She filled my closet with trash, smeared chocolate on my cheerleading clothes, and tripped me in the cafeteria. Brew always stood up for me while I tried to ignore her and just focused on practicing. But then, my height continued to increase very quickly. Gradually, I felt as if everything became smaller. The uniform skirts became too short, and I couldn't even sit at my desk because my legs were too long. The teacher had to move me down to the back of the class with a special table that could fit my body. Ironically, I used to be laughed at for being too short, then I was made fun of for being too tall. Not only that, being too tall made it difficult to practice cheerleading. Every time I danced, my foot got tangled with everyone else's, causing the whole team to fall. The coach scolded me a lot and also threatened to kick me out of the team if I didn't improve. After that, I spent days and nights practicing. However, every afternoon, I still spent some time going to the basketball field to sneak a peek at Ken. One time, when I was watching him from afar, a voice startled me. "Are you stalking Ken? That's creepy. You like him?" It was Kelly. She looked at me with questioning eyes. I quickly waved my hand. "Nope, just passing by." After that, I hurried away to avoid Kelly's suspicion. If she knew I had a crush on Ken, she would definitely steal him. One afternoon at the canteen, when I was carrying a lunch tray past Kelly's and her friend's table, Kelly tripped me again and almost made me fall to the ground. Immediately, a hand reached out and caught me in time. "Are you okay?" I looked up. It was Ken. He turned to Kelly and scolded. "Stop bullying people. Get a life." Kelly was fuming. I had never felt more satisfied in my life. Ken helped me clean up the mess and invited me to have lunch with him. Bon appetit. We ate together and talked happily. Gradually, we became closer. We often had lunch together and helped each other do homework. One day, Ken suddenly confessed to me. "I like you, Caddy. Do you want to be my girlfriend?" I blushed shyly. "But everyone says I'm as tall as a giraffe." Ken burst out laughing, then suddenly leaned in and kissed me on the lips. My face flushed even redder as he smiled. "You are amazing as you are. Don't be bothered by what people say." The day to select which members would be in the official cheerleading team has come. I had to compete with Kelly to see who would get the center position. As I was getting ready in the dressing room, Kelly approached me and nudged me on the shoulder. "Prepare to lose." When we were building the pyramid, Kelly was the one to support my legs. As she lifted me up, I felt my ankles being twisted. Kelly was pulling dirty tricks on me again. I lost my balance and fell. Luckily, Brew caught me in time, but the heavy impact made both of us roll on the ground. The coach got super mad at her. "Kelly, I saw what you did. You made Caddy fall on purpose. Solidarity and teamwork are very important in cheerleading. You are expelled from the team. Caddy will have the center position." While everyone was asking if I was all right, I saw Kelly looking at me with hatred. I immediately texted Ken about the good news, and he happily responded, "Congrats, babe. Let's have dinner to celebrate. I'm practicing until late afternoon. Wait for me at the stairs behind the basketball court." When it was time, I came to the stairs that Ken said, It was dark and no one was around, so I got a bit scared. Suddenly, a shadow flashed by me and covered my mouth. Before I could scream, he motioned for me to keep quiet and whispered, "Shh, it's me. You need to get out of here right now." Before I could understand what was going on, Rue grabbed my hand and led me down the hallway. At that moment, we heard a loud bang and Kelly screaming where I just stood. Bru and I went back there together and saw Kelly lying in pain with an injured leg. Beside her were the stairs smeared with oil. Ken suddenly appeared and panickedly rushed to her. "Kelly, are you okay?" We quickly took Kelly to the emergency room. She had broken her leg. When we returned from the hospital, Bru told me everything. Actually, Ken and Kelly are cousins. She wanted Ken to flirt with you, then broke your heart. After she was removed from the team, she told Ken to meet you at the stairs filled with oil so that you would fall and couldn't practice anymore. How do you know that? I overheard their conversation in the cafeteria and tried to contact you, but you didn't pick up. So I followed you there. Oh my god, it's unbelievable that they could do such a cruel thing. But karma has no menu. She got served what she deserved. Kelly came to the stairs to see the result and carelessly fell into the very trap she had set. And I later found out Ruth signed up for the cheerleading squad just to protect me from those mean girls. We're a couple now. Even though Rue is a bit shorter than me, I still think we're the best couple. The first day of high school, I walked into the school hallway as everyone looked at me in shock. Oh my gosh, her skin glows in the sun. Hey, can I try touching your skin? It's so beautiful. Hi, I'm Amia, a 16-year-old girl with congenital albinism. It results in me having white hair, white skin, and white eyelashes. That's why I always stand out from the crowd. Can you imagine how much my special skin is worth? $3 million! When I was 9, I caught the eye of a photographer. He told my parents and said, "Can I invite her to model for my upcoming photo shoot? I'll pay you a suitable amount." My parents immediately agreed, but after the shoot, he only gave her $5. Mom and Dad pouted. "Is that all? How cheap? Her skin is worthless." To my parents, I was like a failed product and as ugly as a corpse. While they always criticized and hated me, Miss Jim, their acquaintance who was also a dermatologist, said that my skin was beautiful and precious. My parents treated me very coldly. It wasn't until the age of 14 that I was able to celebrate my first birthday after desperately begging them. At my party, while Miss Jim was standing near the kitchen, a cat suddenly jumped over and caused the soup pot to spill. "Jim, be careful!" I rushed over to push her away. The pot of soup spilled on my leg and burned it painfully. While everyone was trying to call an ambulance in panic, my parents were quite calm. "It's a small wound, calm down." But Miss Jim had always been aware of my skin's special value. She hugged me and cried, "You got burned for saving me. I'm so sorry, my precious." After that, she turned to my parents and said, "I'm going to buy Amia's skin insurance for $1 million. If her skin is injured or has problems, the insurance company will pay double that amount and take care of all the treatment costs." My parents were surprised and delighted at that. They cheerfully agreed. I even heard them plan to spend more money to buy insurance for me. Not only that, they became incredibly loving and protective of me after that. I was never allowed to get close to things that could be dangerous. Mom and Dad even quit their jobs and stayed at home to take better care of me. For the first time, I was showered by their attention and love. One day, Mom bought me a bottle of shower gel and said, "Honey, this is a special body wash for your sensitive skin." I was happy since it was a rare gift from my mom. But after using it, my whole skin got irritated and red. I was hospitalized for a few days and was diagnosed with dermatitis from using products that had too much E. coli. After that incident, I got some compensation from the insurance company. Mom was so brokenhearted that she burst into tears. "I'm so sorry, honey. I should have been more careful." It made me sad too, so I comforted her that I was fine. To make up for that mistake, a few weeks later, my parents took me to the beach. As we arrived, Dad said,
Sweetie, let's relax and sunbathe for a while. It can make your skin healthier.
Mom also handed me a glass of orange juice. After a while, a terrible sleepiness came, and I fell asleep right under the sun. When I woke up, my whole body felt like it was burning. My skin got terribly red, and there were sunburned spots everywhere. I had to go to the dermatologist again. The doctor warned, "Don't you know that the skin of people with albinism is very weak and easily irritated in the sun? She was hurt because of your ignorant actions." My parents wept and blamed themselves again. Seeing them like that, I quickly smiled and reassured them. "It's okay, it's not your fault. At least we'll be compensated, thanks to the insurance." Mom and Dad got more and more protective of my skin. One day, my class held a field trip. I had to try very hard to convince them to let me go. They refused it at first, but after I begged again and again, they finally agreed on one condition. They would accompany me for my safety. Jeez. On the day of the trip, the whole class looked at me like I was a weirdo when Mom and Dad fought for the seats next to me on the bus. At lunch, while they were eagerly devouring grilled ribs and got completely immersed in food, someone grabbed me. It was Nick, my upperclassman. Although he was only 18, he was already a famous photographer. "I've been impressed with your skin for a long time and really want to take photos of you in the forest. What do you think?" Nick was someone that all the girls in school admire and yearn for, and I was no exception. Of course, I immediately agreed. Knowing that my parents would never let me out of sight, we sneakily put sleeping pills in their meals. Soon, they got tired and went to the room. Nick and I eagerly went into the forest together. He took a lot of unique photos with a very mysterious style of me. My white skin stood out brilliantly in the dark forest. The shoot was a success. We returned right when my parents woke up, and they were totally clueless about that. After some editing, Nick posted those photos online. Under his influence and unique shooting style, my photos spread like wildfire on social media. Unfortunately, my parents saw them and lost their minds. "How dare you go to such a dangerous place without letting us know? What if you fell or got bitten by a wild animal? I don't want to be locked all the time." Suddenly, a knock on the door stopped our argument. A rich-looking man appeared at my house and introduced.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm the manager of a modeling agency. I was introduced by Nick, the owner of the series Girl in the Forest. We wanted to make Amia a star in the modeling industry.
My parents delightfully screamed. "Wow! How much are you going to pay?"
For a unique model for our upcoming campaign, if she agrees, she will be paid $1,000 per hour of work.
Hearing that, my parents' eyes shone bright like diamonds, and they immediately demanded that I participate in their special campaign. Not long after, I became a well-known model and made a lot of money, and my parents decided to pay more for my skin insurance, their main source of income. One day, while Nick and I were on our way back to the company after meeting new clients, I saw my parents entering a casino. Curious, I sneakily followed them. I heard my dad voice,
"Let's go big today!"
"But what if we lose all our money?"
Chill, Amia's skin is an endless gold mine.
Furious, I rushed to them. "So you've been using the money I earn to waste on gambling? From now on, I will not give you a single coin." They got enraged hearing that and shouted,
You ungrateful brat! We've raised and protected you. That money is ours.
"No! Not when you burn in this kind of place!" After screaming, I furiously left right away. That night, I received a call from Nick.
Can you meet me now? There's something important I want to say.
I snuck out to see him while my parents were asleep. He said,
Listen, Amia, you should leave your parents as soon as possible. They could put you in danger. If you want, I can arrange a good place for you.
I